So we're going to get these Wilwood 320mm rotors caliper kit installed on the VH. So this kit comes from Custom Rod Shop. Just going to go through what we need to do first. Then you grab our wheel hub, and we need to install studs. Now, there are a few different places you can pop the studs. So you can either do, I believe it's a Chev pattern, which is your 4.75 by 5 PCD. But we want a 5 by 120 for Commodore. I don't know if Wilwood or if Rod Shop have done this, but you'll notice, get that to focus, little punch on these holes here. If you pop your studs into those, that'll suit your Commodore 5 by 120 PCD. So I'm going to bang them in and we'll go to the next step. So this is what we end up with. As you can see, got the studs in where the dots are, and they bolt straight up to our wheel, which I've tried on to make sure that it's all good. So next step, we need to get the inner bearing cone with some disc brake grease, so proper high temp grease, not just your regular grease, and we get that into the back of the hub. So we'll find that in the box, and we'll see how we go from there. Just one thing I forgot to mention just before we go on to the bearings, these studs need to be torqued to 77 foot-pounds. So we'll go through and torque them up now. Tight. Yep. We're giving these up to 77 foot-pounds. Trying to film and do this at the same time. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to turn around, do the other two off camera. But yeah, I always think to just put a bit of a towel. It does make it a bit more slippery in the vise, but just try and make it, or keep them looking as good as they do. Hubs are done, studs are torqued up. Next thing, so before we've got to grease the large inner bearing cones. There's two sets of bearings. You can clearly tell the difference here. These are the larger ones. So we're going to pack them with some high temp proper grease, which is designed for brakes. I'm just using this Valvoline Valplex, which is designed for wheel bearings. So yeah, just want to make sure that you do use a high temp one, on one that is dedicated for wheel bearings. They can generate quite a bit of heat, so I'm going to pack them up and get them installed. Alrighty, so bearings are packed up. They just sit nice there into the back of the hub. Next thing we need to do is install these seals. They go into there. They've got to sit flush with the lip of the hub there, so they should sit flush right in there. So we'll get that put on. We'll get on to the next step. Just a little tip, make sure when you are installing it, so you've got two sides of the cap. Right, this one's sort of all flat, and then this one's got the ridge. This is the side that goes down. Alright, so that little groove will sit on the bearing like that. Alright, so that's how it should look. Now you do need to press these in. You can see they don't just push in, they've got to be pressed in. Don't have a press, you can use a vise against it, but yeah, use whatever you need to get it done properly. Okay, so caps are on. Next step, got to get hub adapter onto our beautiful big 320mm rotor. Got bolts that go around there, they get torqued up to 25 foot-pounds. Do need to apply red Loctite, is what it says on there. I think it says Loctite 271, which I believe is what I have. And then when you're tightening them, alternate the pattern, obviously the same way you would do when you're putting your wheels on. So get these unpacked, get the bolts out, get some Loctite on them and start torquing them up. So, important part to note, how do you actually put this on? Flat side of the rotor with this part pointing down. So it should sit like that. Alright, so that's how we should be looking. Alright, so we'll get the bolts out, Loctite them, torque them up. And our bag of bolts, it's these ones here. There's 8 per hub and rotor. There's 16 in this, so these are the ones we want to use. Alright. And just to throw a spanner in the works, just, you know, pun intended, they're a Torx bit, these ones. So they're a T40, and normally I'd be alright to use that, but they do need to be torqued up, and want to do this properly. So off to Bunnings we go to see if we can find some Torx sockets, and we'll pick this up again later. Before I go to Bunnings, I thought I'm going to preempt and check the rest of the bolts. There are another set here. There's 2 sets, not sure what they're out for yet. These are also Torx. They're a T50. So you will need a T40 and a T50 Torx male socket, so that you can actually put it onto your torque wrench. So yeah, we'll go pick one up. Okay, back from Bunnings. We're on my plan at home, and you don't have these. It's a part number. It's a King Chrome one. Sure, you can get cheaper ones. That I'm probably going to use them again, so I thought I'll get the King Chromes. They're about $55 from Bunnings. So yeah, we're going to bang them on the impact or on the wrench. We'll get them in there and Loctite them and whatnot, and then we'll torque them up. Get them in by hand first, just get them started. Make sure they're all lined up. Don't want to cross-thread anything. Not going to put a lot of this. Couldn't find any of the Loctite 271 that was recommended. So future me is going to have a problem potentially when I need to change the rotors, because I'm using 263, which is meant to be like a permanent bond. It's actually meant to be used for like wheel studs and stuff. So yeah, a future video when it's time to change brakes, you'll probably get me here swearing and carrying on. But yeah, last one in. Nice, we use this to get them done. Just picked this up not long ago, probably should hold it. Picked this up not long ago, it's a bloody game changer, this little thing. Alright, let's go bang this in the vise and make sure they're all to the right torque, which was 25 foot-pounds, I believe. Yep, 25 foot-pounds. So we'll go torque them up now and go do the other one. Alright, excuse the mess in the shed. It's always a mess in here. I always have some sort of excuse, but just trying to teach myself how to TIG weld. But yeah, got this in the vise. Hopefully tight enough. 25 foot-pounds, not too much torque. There we go. Remember, do these in a star pattern similar to the way you would do wheels. Best practice is to have somewhere to mark the bolts that you have done. I'm just trying to remember which ones I've done, but we'll go around them a few times. Should be all of them now. All done. Alright, so that's one rotor done. Got the other side. Just doing both at the same time. That way we keep yeah, keep in mind what we should be doing. So we'll go get the other one, set that up. It's not going to be any different, I won't film that, but yeah, back with the next step. Okay, so we're on the second page of the instructions. Next step is to mount the adapter rotor assembly to our hub. So these 5 studs there, or bolt holes there, gotta line them up with that. It's the correct orientation. We'll flip it over, again Loctite, and these ones get tied into 55 foot-pounds. And the bolts to use are these 2 packets, so 5 in each. These are the T50s, so glad we got that socket set. So these bolts from the back side go into all 5 of these, same thing on both sides. Again, Loctite, 55 foot-pounds. I'll bang these in the way we did the other side, or did the rotor assembly, and we'll go torque them up on the bench. Alright, let's get these on there. Just make sure they're nice and lined up. Don't want to cross thread nothing again. Yep. Therapeutic. I tell you what, don't mind doing this sort of fiddly stuff when the quality of the product actually so good. It's actually really happy with the quality of these things. Considering the price, you know, you'd be lucky to get a VT brake upgrade for the early girls for this sort of price that you pay from the rod shop for these. So it's really good value for money. Alright, is that one done? Bring the other hub over. Oh, line them up first go. Loving it. Get our bolts. Same process once again. Make sure they're the same. Yep, they're going the right way. Don't want to find out I've put them in upside down or whatever after I've done this. And I've just told you all how I'm not expecting to be able to get these bolts off in a hurry with this Loctite. Don't know how good it is, but unfortunately it is resistant to heat. It's the only difference between the, what am I using, 263 and the 271 is that the 271s can be removed when you apply heat. 263 you cannot, apparently. So you're just going to have to sit there and swear on the car and try your best to use a breaker bar to get rid of them, I guess. Alright. They're on. Over to the bench, torque them up. Alright, rotor in the vise. It's nice and tight enough. 55 foot-pounds on the torque wrench. I'm going to do these. Same sort of thing, we'll go in a star pattern. 55 foot-pounds is a fair bit. At least it's not slipping. Yep, last one. Okay, let's go over, just make sure. Yep. Yep. 3. Fourth one, just moved a bit there. Done. Alright. next run, and we go on to the next step. Alright, so I've done that. Next step says to attach caliper mounting bracket, this guy here, to the spindle face using rubber bolt. So we have a look on the page before. There's our bracket, there's our spindle. Now on the car, got the old brakes, so it's actually time to take the old stuff off and get prepared to put new ones on. Alright, so time to take the old stuff off. Start with the driver's side. Gonna undo the brake lines. There's gonna be a bit of fluid in there. I did pay an extra, I think it was another $200, and the rod shop supplied new lines specifically for the kit, so that don't have to worry about making them up, chasing them around. So yeah, get those done. So I'll get the caliper off and we'll get the brake disc off. We'll give it a bit of a clean up around here and start fitting up the new brakes. Alrighty, so starting the removal, we've taken off the brake line there. Now to get the, we've got to change the lines for the caliper as I said before. There's a clip just here. Just need to slide that out, just using some pliers, and that should then be able to remove the actual brake line from the caliper, and yeah, then we can start taking the rest of it off. So we're going to start by taking these two bolts off. Alright, so they're a 19mm socket. Just crack them. I'll use the Younger Dugger to get them off completely. Hopefully it fits in. Okay. I always find the top one out of the way is easier, because then you can actually weasel that in. There we go. And that's how you remove your caliper. Didn't say it was going to be graceful, just said I'm going to take it off. Caliper off, get the, alright, now it's time to get the old disc off. Gonna pop that dust cover off and drop it. Gonna get rid of this split pin that's holding it in. Got grease all over the camera. Grease all over my hands. A bit of a love cut there. Should be enough to get it out. Yep. And just get this out of the way. That is the split pin done. Just got to find the socket for that. A bit larger than the caliper bolts by the look of it. I'll go find a socket. Okay, we'll get the impact on that, get it off. That should let us get the rotor off. So I've cleaned the grease off there. Found a socket that'll fit it. So it's a 1.16". It's just king chrome one that I use. I actually use this from memory. I actually bought this to do the oil pressure sensor on the back of an LS. Needed a deep socket and I needed that particular size from memory. So yeah, gonna crack this nut off and go from there. Alright, with that nut off, we were able to take the old rotor off. Calipers are off. We're down to the spindle now. So now we need to get our new caliper mount bracket mounted up on here. So the next step, we're going to get our caliper mounting bracket adapter, whatever we want to call it. We're going to pop the two bolts in. I've got it sitting just like this. It then says that we need to install the hub rotor assembly. That's all the way in. It says that it needs to make sure that obviously it runs perpendicular to the brakes, the same way as the brakes. We've got plenty of clearance there, so we don't need shims, depending on what spindles, depending on what car, but this is, yeah, on a VH. It was a factory 6-cylinder car. I don't know if they had different brakes V8 to 6-cylinder. I don't think they did, other than the booster being a different size. But yeah, so that looks good to me. So we're going to go ahead, we'll take that off without scratching it. We need to take these bolts back out. We've got to put Loctite on them. I believe we've got to torque them up as well, so we'll do that now. Okay, for this step, top bolt needs to be torqued to 120 foot-pounds, and the bottom one goes to 77 foot-pounds. So I'm just going to get the torque wrench on there. They're just a 19mm, same as the old caliper bolts. I've already put some Loctite on the top one, so we're going to do one at a time. Yeah, we'll get them done. Oh, we slipped off. Okay, that's not the right size socket. So just off camera, put a bit of grease on the spindle. They're now torqued up. We've packed the outer bearing with grease. So that's all good to go. Do need to keep the crown nut split pin. I mean, you can put a new split pin in. So we're going to install the rotor onto the spindle. We then use the supplied washer, factory nut, and the cotter pin to split pin to secure it all down. So let's give that a go now. Alrighty, so grab that. Not a glamorous job, is it? Okay, that's all the way back. That nut is bearings on. I'm going to put the washer. The washer, I don't know if you can see that on camera, has got this little dowel. You've got to line that up on the spindle. There's a little gap there as well, so you can line that up. So it goes on like that. Bang the nut on. Now we'll go through, I've got the factory service manual, just go and check if that needs to be torqued or not. I don't believe they do, because you've got to be able to still get the pin on it. So it's got to be lined up, but yeah, I'll just go make sure 100%. So that's the finished product there. Pins back on, nuts back on, it's all greased up. I gotta say, like, look at the dust cap, like, beautifully machined. Got the O-ring on there to keep everything out. Like, this bloody amazing bit of kit. Well worth the price. It's nice and tight. Give it a wipe, make sure she's all clean. And it looks like our rotor done. Next step. So with our rotor on, next thing is to temporarily mount up the calipers and just check to make sure that the disc is actually centered up with where the caliper is going to mount. So the instructions do say and these are the bolts that we use. Chuck the bolt in and chuck 2 of the shims, 2 of these like that. So 2 of the shims on for both mounting bolts, just to, as a ballpark, to get started. So I'm just going to pop that on and see how it looks. Just a little bit of a tip with these caliper spacers from the rotor shop. Just tried putting the bolts in and it wouldn't go, so I've just run a tap through it. So there are 3/8 UNF. So just put that through just to clean up threads, probably from when they're powder coated or painted or whatever. A bit of dirt or stuff got in there and just couldn't start the bolt and didn't want to cross thread it. So yeah, just to have a tap handy just in case you need to clean them up. But yeah, let's try and get these calipers on now with the shims. So it looks like with the 2 shims we might need to actually put a few more. So taking this as the center line, the silver line on the rotor, on the caliper, and the rotor is not centered up to it. Could go over just a tiny bit, so I'm going to chuck a 3rd shim. Also, the bolts when tightened do hit the rotor, so we're going to have to put some washers there as well, just to make sure the bolt sits flush with the end of the caliper mount. Alright, much happier with that. So we went with 3 shims on the inside and a washer on the outside. Now that has given us good clearance. The bolt is only slightly protruding, just like it says in figure 4 on the diagram. If we have a look at our rotor, it is perfectly lined up in the center with everything else, so we are good to go. So now what we're going to do, take one off at a time. We're going to Loctite them as we did before. So Loctite, and then we'll torque them up. These ones are to 40 foot-pounds. So that's all done. As you can see, no protrusion. It's all centered up. Now it's time to get the pads in. I found, I don't know if it was the right way, take this little grub screw out. That'll let you slide the brake retainer clip out. That's just a matter of sliding these in, the friction material the right way. Alright, lining them, I think they bottom out. Nope, it's gone way too far. Damn it. So the idea is, I believe, to line them up. It's a bit hard single-handed. So yeah, essentially line this up so that it goes through the holes in the pads, as you can see there, and then clip it back in. We put the grub screw back. So when you get the brake lines on, in case you're an idiot like me, this is where they go. There's a little sticker over the hole, so you can't actually see where it goes. So that's on, as you can see. Comes with the little grommet there that you can mount back up to the shock tower. Now our job is to get the line back into there, use the clip, the factory clip to secure it, and yeah, screw the factory fitting back on. And that's the finished product. Lines are on, as you can see, pads are in, and that is how it comes out. So now obviously you're doing this on your early Commodore, so final step is to get your earbuds and bolt them up.